Hello, my name is Ellen, and I would like to talk with you today about the importance of an effective schedule on your school days at home. I serve as the mentor to parents here at Veritas Academy in Austin, Texas, and I can't think of a more pertinent topic at the start of the school year. I will be starting up again next week with teaching my grandchildren at home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'm currently making plans for this new school year and wanted to share some of these ideas with you. First of all, I just know, having done this now for 7 years and having a larger group, I know the importance of planning ahead and thinking through what you want to do to make these days really uh, be all that they can be. And whether you have one child or two, or like me, up to five or six on a day, and regardless of the grade they're in, doing some planning up front and putting together a schedule is really helpful. So I want to just share with you first a story. Last year, one afternoon, I got a tearful call from a parent. She's a parent of five kids. Two are toddlers, three were in various uh, grade school classes. And she just shared with me, she says, Ellen, I can't do this anymore. I can no longer stay at Veritas and I'm going to be pulling my kids out. So as I listened to her tearful exchange, I asked her a simple question. I just said, would you tell me how you set up your days? What is your schedule like? She paused and she said, what do you mean schedule? I don't have a schedule. I just do school as it fits in. We spent the next half hour putting together um, just an effective schedule for her, not a rigid one, but one that gave her a plan and a means by which to navigate this school day at home. And doing so has made all the difference. She's back at our school. She said it has changed everything about her day at home. So let's talk a little bit about why. Here we are at home with our kids and we want it to be relaxed and fun and peaceful. So why do we need to have a schedule? And I would say, first of all, it's going to give you some control over your day. It's going to force you to prioritize. Um, Doing a come what may approach can really, really easily leave you frazzled. And it's really important for kids to have a consistent rhythm to their days and their weeks, knowing what's going to happen, knowing what's expected, having a consistent pattern to the days eases their anxiety and gives them a sense of control as well. And your schedule, while consistent, doesn't have to be rigid. It has to have plenty of room for flexibility. If possible, I really encourage that you have a schedule that begins and ends approximately around the same time that the school day at school does. This provides with that consistency for your children. Not having a set starting time and a set ending time is going to make your day drag on. Um, and I think that this is so important that you have an effective start and an end point in mind that also builds this ability to use time well for your kids. Some of you might need to have creative solutions for your days. It doesn't all have to happen on that school day time. And it might be better if you have your kids pick an assignment to do the night before, or plan to do audible things, read alouds, or memory work in the car as you travel to and from school. At dinner time is a great time to talk about discipleship topics and various other things. And weekends work well for my grandkids to work on projects. It doesn't have to all happen on those days at home, just that you have a plan in place. I really encourage parents to plan ahead and not enter the school day at home without having looked at the lesson plans, without having really considered all that the day is going to hold. For me, I take a look. I know that I have the right materials on hand. I know that I need to be able to work maybe more with one child or the other. I have a plan in mind up front. There's a book I read years ago by John Maxwell called Today Matters. And in it, he talked about how we have either prepare days or repair days. And he said, prepare days are the days in which we do everything we need to set that day up well. But repair days are when we're constantly behind, constantly doing things that we should have done beforehand. And if you really want to have quality time with your child or children during the school days, you need to be preparing in advance so you're not focused on trying to figure out what to do instead on your kids. So I want to talk with you a little bit about my schedule and knowing that you need to fix one for your family that works for you. But I'll share with you what I do that works with my grandkids, and perhaps you can use it as a starting point if you don't have a schedule in place right now. I always start the school day at the same time. And in my case, that's 8:30. And the first 15 to 20 minutes is always devoted to what I call morning moments. No reason to call it that, except that's what I call it. And in this time, we have a Bible lesson, a character lesson. We talk about what the day's going to hold. I go through individual goals with each child, tell them what I'm looking for in their behavior. I might have a child who's really bad at interrupting, and I might say to that child, today I'm going to be looking for you to be thinking about when to speak and not interrupting. And so let's work on that together. So everyone knows what we're working on. I make it a group conversation because I want them to know they all have different strengths and weaknesses. So it's that time to really pull together, look at the day, set the tone, and pray together. That is a non-negotiable. Before that, I have prayed myself up and done my own quiet time in preparation for the day, which is also important so that I have the right mindset entering the day. And then I divide the kids' work assignments into 3 work sessions. Now, if you just have preschool, kindergarten kids, this is different, but my kids range in age all the way through. So I have 3 work sessions, and I would say this applies mainly to grammar and School of Logic kids. High school kids really are able to manage their schedule more independently, and they're not needing to have an imposed structure like this. But the first work session then is about 8:45 to 10. And for me, what works well for me is to have everyone work on their math. It just something that I do. I make sure that that is the assignment we're all working on together. Sometimes I combine um, our math programs have these morning meeting times. Sometimes I'll combine 2 grades and do morning meetings together, but they're helping each other. We're working together. I'm going from student to student, helping them with their math. And before that first work session is over, they know their math assignment needs to be completed and corrected. And when that's done, and sometimes I have them start something else if they don't have a long math assignment. But at the very least, math is done before the first break. And so when it is, they go outside. If a student hasn't worked hard and has wasted that first period, their break's going to be shorter. But I do make sure they still have a break because I know the importance of a break in terms of maintaining focus. When they're out on the break, then I'm setting up snack. And I do snack all together with these kids. And then they come in during snack time. We're doing scripture memory, we're doing other memory work, we're doing recitations, we're doing group activities. I'm not wasting this time because it's important for me to not have the day stretch too long, and it's important for them as well. So I do utilize that time for just the things that you can get done as a group that aren't paper pencil things. So following that morning break, I move into the second work session. Morning break, snack. And then from snack, we move into that second work session, which is from around, I don't know, 10:45 to 12 or 12:15. And prior to that, I will meet with each student, talk about their expectations for that work session, talk about what they can do independently, what they need my help with, so that they're able to be working the whole time, whether I'm with them or not. I'm looking around and saying, okay, we have this much time and this is what you need to get done. And usually in this time frame, I'm doing things like reading and grammar and writing and spelling, all those kind of language arts things. With the older students, I give them choice. I give them as much choice as they can manage responsibly. So with my first and second graders, I'm going to be kind of in charge of what they're doing more so. And as they get older, each year, I allow more and more choice. I let them know that the more responsible they are, the more freedom they have. And the opposite is also true. So that work session goes until about 12 or 12:15. At that point, I send them outside for a break. If the weather is really bad, they can play games or color or do something indoors. I never allow screens, however, during these breaks. Screens somehow have a way of diminishing their focus, of, I don't know, ushering in the wrong type of moods. And so I make sure that I have screen-free days, except for any type of research that they're having to do on the internet. So then I'm setting up lunch. And lunch for me, I've come up with a few meals that seem to work for my grandkids and they're easy for me. For example, I'll do a sandwich bar and they seem to like that. They're making their own sandwiches. I tell them, you're going to eat what you take when you make your own. And they like doing that. Sandwiches and fruit and chips is a common one that I will do. They also like taquitos. I don't do a lot of variety. I stick to a few basics and make sure I'm stocked up on those because it's just a time saver. And um, I have to admit, I use paper plates and things on these days because I have so many kids and I don't really want to spend all that time uh, doing dishes. But anyway, so that work session then, um, so actually, okay, we've had lunch, they run out and play and they're ready for their final. Oh, and over lunch, I will also do read alouds and group things, have discussions. I'm making sure that I'm getting done what I can done in a way that works and isn't going to be leaving us with a lot to do at the end of the day. So after lunch and break is the final work session. And that's for any incomplete assignments, often it's science or history projects, whatever. For my older middle school students, they're going to be working longer on some days, maybe closer to 4. For my younger students, they're going to be done closer to 2. But each work session it builds in these mini deadlines. And I think it's really important for our kids because it teaches them kind of wise use of time. I don't know about you, but if I have endless time to complete something, I take endless time. But if I have a deadline, I'm more efficient, I'm more effective, and I do better work. And so building in these breaks in the day and these deadlines in these mini work sessions with expectations in each allows the kids to more effectively work, and it breaks up this long list of assignments into manageable parts. And it's important with all of them to be able to discuss with them how they're doing and how they're needing work. When one of my kids needs help, I ask them first to try on their own to figure it out, that I help kids who are helping themselves, and that I'm just not going to, they need not just sit around and wait for me to come help them. So one of the other things that helps with the schedule for me is I have a very simple system of supplies. I'm well stocked at the start of the year. I make sure I have everything, including printer ink, which is so important. And I have them set up in bins and the kids know where they are. They take them out, they put them away. I make sure with their own books that whatever they're utilizing, they're putting back in their own backpacks when they're done, that they're part of the take down and organization strategy. At each break, I have them put their things away, file what they have done before they go out. And that keeps things more organized throughout the day. So I want to close with this final tip, and that is this is a really great gift that you have. And the greatest gifts you can give your kids during these times is to let them know it really matters that you're with them. And so I encourage you, if at all possible, to be wholeheartedly engaged in these days. Try not to multitask your kids. Put everything else aside that could that you have to do that you possibly can. I put a big X in my agenda planner on the days that the kids are with me because I know that if I'm distracted by another list of to-dos, that I'm not going to be as engaged with them. These days can be hard, but they pass quickly. And I encourage you not to see it as a checklist and to take hurry out of your thought process. It's interesting to me that the state of hurry robs us of the beauty God's placed before us, and that even sometimes the ability to be gracious to those around us. Getting things done can bring you ease, but getting the right things done is going to give you a peace of mind. So, if you can learn to teach from a state of rest, um, which is going to happen if you're not striving, but you're simply engaged. And this is going to be a lot easier when you've planned ahead and you have a working schedule in place. So I hope that these few tips have blessed you today. And I pray that you all have a great school year. Thanks for listening.